Doctor Who, season by season. Season 5 re-review. Hello and welcome to this week's video. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know that one of the first things I did when I started doing reviews in 2016 was a series called Doctor Who Season by Season, in which I, shockingly, reviewed every season of Classic Who, and eventually the first 10 seasons of New Who as well. It occurred to me the other day that's actually now 8 to 9 years ago, about 8 years since I finished, which is insane. And it also occurred to me that with some of the earlier seasons, we've had certain gaps kind of filled so that, stories that I wasn't even able to give any kind of review to, possibly, especially 3, 4, and 5, I now can. So, and I'm not saying I'm going to do it, I'm going to review every single one again, but I thought I'd do a catch-up season 5, season by season re-review, just to fill in some gaps and to see if any of my opinions have changed in the last 8 or 9 years. Anyway, season 5 starred Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor, Fraser Hines as Jamie McCrimmon, and Deborah Watling as Victoria Waterfield, and ran from late 67 to early 68 or mid 68. It began with The Tomb of the Cybermen. This is a very famous Cyberman story. As I think I've said before, I absolutely loved it the first time I saw it back in like 92 or 93, whenever it came out. I think it was 92. Whether it was 92 in Australia, I can't quite remember, but possibly. But it never quite captured that magic again on subsequent viewings. And I still kind of feel that way. I think Tomb is alright, but I do think it was overrated. I won't say that it's my least favourite 60s Cyberman story, as I do prefer it to The 10th Planet. I would say it's probably my least favourite Troughton Cyberman story. Now, the next story is The Abominable Snowmen. Now, at the time when I did this review, the only thing there was to watch was episode 2. Unfortunately, we haven't had any missing episodes returned in the meantime, though we have had an animation. And unfortunately not a terribly good one. In fact, I would say Abominable Snowmen is one of the worst animations we've had. Granted, it's got some competition in recent years because they've pretty much all been piss poor since this. But this one is particularly egregious. There's no attempt. This is an atmosphere story, and there's absolutely no attempt to give any kind of atmosphere. The animation is laughably comical. The stick figure Yeti hitting the stick figure monks and them falling down like stick figures is just hysterical. It's like, really? This is the best you can do? How are you getting these jobs? Oh, the old boys club, yeah. As well as the PC ridiculousness of making the animated characters not look anything like their actual live action counterparts. I think this was really the point where the animations just started completely losing the bloody plot and forgetting what the hell their purpose actually was. It's terrible. Again, I can't necessarily say the story is terrible. Episode 2 is fine. But all I can review here is the version we've got to watch, which is the animation, and it sucks balls. Thanks, Gary. Next up is The Ice Warriors, which I feel pretty much the same as I did when I reviewed this, perhaps more strongly. I really like The Ice Warriors. I think The Ice Warriors is actually underrated. It's very atmospheric. It's very enjoyable. The Ice Warriors are great. The stuff all set in the ice is just incredibly beautifully done and spooky, and love the score as well. Again, very spooky and atmospheric. This is a 6-parter with 2 episodes missing. One of the early animations. Unfortunately, this is kind of the first. This is like the first example we've got of the Scooby-Doo animation that unfortunately now seems to be the perennial house style that we are stuck with in perpetuity, even though it's completely inappropriate and totally unsuitable for what they're trying to do here. I don't particularly like this animation. I don't necessarily think it's quite as bad as the recent ones, but again, I struggle with it badly because, again, the story is incredibly atmospheric and the animation just has none of that. But fortunately, we have 4 episodes anyway, so it doesn't really affect the story too much. And I still really like the Ice Warriors. Next up is The Enemy of the World, another 6-parter. This was, of course, famously, we only had 1 episode until 2013 when it was found in full, at which point fandom collectively lost its mind and decided it was the best ever. I still don't particularly like The Enemy of the World. I've rarely watched it. I think I've only seen it about twice. I just find it kind of dull. It's the weakest of the season in my book. I don't know what to say about it. Troughton's fun in a dual role, but that's about it. It's a very dull story with not much to really write home about. I just don't get the adulation. If anything, I like it less than I did when there was only 1 episode. But that's just me. Next up is The Web of Fear. I'm pretty sure everything I said about this I still agree with. I love The Web of Fear. Always loved that first episode on Lost in Time set, and wished we could get the rest of the story. And of course, we finally did. Episode 3 notwithstanding. And it did not disappoint. It lived up to expectations. This is one of my favourite Troughton stories. One of my favourite stories, period. This is hugely atmospheric, spooky, beautifully made. I love The Web of Fear. It kicks serious ass. Next up is Fury from the Deep. Now again, I couldn't really say anything about this last time I reviewed it. We have since had an animation. Now, I really enjoyed the animation on first viewing, and I think Fury from the Deep is a great story. I've struggled to watch it again, to be honest, because again, I've just gone off the animations completely. But I think from what I did see the first time at least, this seems like another really good story, another really tense, intense, spooky, atmospheric tale. And I wish that we could find it or at least get a more authentic animation than the one we do have. That being said, I do think Fury is still a very, very strong story. And next up is the season finale, which closes the season with another Cyberman story, just as we opened it with. And that is, of course, The Wheel in Space. Now, we only have 2 episodes of this existing, and that was all I could review last time I did this review. Since then, of course, we've had TARDIS Time Girl's stunningly atmospheric, authentic animation of the remainder, which I did a separate review of back in November when it came out. It was beautifully done. It's... again, as I said in that review, I feel like I've watched The Wheel in Space, which is, again, not a feeling I've had with a lot of the animations, which just don't make you feel like you're really watching Doctor Who at all. You're watching Scooby-Doo with the Doctor Who soundtrack. That animation is so good, I feel like I've watched the story. It still boggles me that I keep seeing on comments things on YouTube videos, people going, "Oh, I hope they animate The Wheel in Space." I feel like screaming at these people. I feel like bashing them over the head with a bloody half brick. It's like, hello, you've got one, and it is infinitely better than anything you're going to get from the bloody BBC. You've got an actual, atmospheric, authentic, true to the fucking real thing animation free for you on YouTube, and you can't wait to pay out for a fucking Scooby-Doo version. I swear, I give up on fandom sometimes. I really do. What is wrong with you? Do yourself a custom cover, download it, put it on a disc, do yourself a custom cover, and there, it's on your bloody shelf. Why do you want to throw fucking money away for what is going to be something fucking inferior? I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a rant, but fandom just does my head in these days. It really does. It always did to a degree, but I swear IQs really have, as Ripley said in Aliens, IQs really have just dropped sharply in the last 30 years. Uh, where was I? Oh yeah, the Wheel in Space. I think the Wheel in Space is great. That story, because of that animation, unlike unlike most of the animations we've had recently, where the stories that sometimes the story's actually gone down from when I hadn't seen it. Wheel in Space actually went up in my animation. I actually really like animation. Really like Wheel. Kind of prefer it to two after that. To be honest, I thought that was really good, and I really enjoyed everything about it. Anyway, so that's season five. I have to say, season five has gone up in my estimation. I mean, I never disliked it, but there was just so much missing that it was, it's often hard to even give it a rating. That being said, given that I have seen the season, all of it now, at least in some form, even if some of them is less than ideal, I think season five is an extremely strong season. Um, I think actually it's bypassed season two as my second favourite of the '60s. I still think I slightly prefer season six because of not least because of Sexy Little Zoe. Uh, but I really like season five. I just wish they could either find or we could get better animations of Fury and especially Abominable Snowman, which is just god awful. Nonetheless, I'm gonna give season five an A minus. Comment.